Steven, would you dye your hair later on in life?
Sure, why not? Yeah, I think so.
You're that vain, huh?
I could go purple or blue or I don't know, of that variety. Why?
Purple or blue?
Yeah, I don't know, midlife crisis type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
You wouldn't just, you know, dye it back to, what are you, like a dirty blonde? More brown?
I think I'm a dirty blonde, yeah. What would you do? Just wish for
Continue
hair
being bald.
again?
Just continue being bald. I thought about that, like if I still had hair, I would just let it go gray. Because the reason I bring this up, have you seen
Oh,
George Clooney lately?
yeah.
Dude,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? The man was a
Yeah.
silver fox. I love me some George Clooney. Not actually was watching for whatever reason. I guess it was 420 and I was in the mood. Was watching Batman and Robin over the weekend. Good God,
Oh,
that's a terrible movie.
yeah.
The puns are hilarious though. A freeze is coming.
Yeah.
It's the winter of your discontent. Um,
Everybody chill.
everybody chill. But yeah, it looks like George Clooney put a shit ton of shoe polish in his hair and he looks unnatural and he looked good. I don't know why he's doing this. He's married. He doesn't need to do this shit.
Yeah. Also, like when you've had gray hair long enough and everyone can notice it, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
like if out of nowhere, like 70-year-old Steve Martin just started walking around with black hair. Like George Clooney, I want to say he was a little bit of gray, touch of gray for
yeah.
the Grateful Dead fans out there. Touch of gray during his ER days.
Oh, well, here's it looks like it's for a Broadway role, Derek.
Oh.
So we may have gotten this wrong. Let's take it. I'm going to open it up here, and
Let's take a look at old George Clooney.
oh no, ad blocker. All right.
Don't you love those?
Oh my God, what am I doing? What's happening?
Everything's ad. Or is it a paywall or is it ad blocker?
No, it's ad blocker. Where there it is. Okay, good.
All right, you
All
got
right.
the X. You found it.
Yeah, all right. Gonna refresh.
Yeah, there's Clooney.
Okay, not on a no. I don't.
No, that's not Clooney.
I don't need the BET Plus original movie. All right, before we get to the actual, we'll let that play through.
Okay.
All right, so I know it's not good, he said.
It's not a good dye job for old Clooney.
You never get used to it. It's not my favorite look, and my wife, she thinks it's funny. Adding that his 7-year-old twins laugh at his new look. Nothing makes you look older than being 63 and dyeing your hair.
Okay.
And he made his Broadway debut playing the role of Edward R. Murrow in Good Night and Good Luck.
Oh, okay. I probably should have done more research on this topic.
No, so should I. I thought it just randomly happened, but is that a first? Is this a first for an actor where they've directed a film and decided to do the Broadway play and play the main character?
That's right. He did direct Good Night and Good Luck, and now he's playing the lead role in a Broadway play. Well, that's interesting. Okay, did not know that. The reason I brought this up today because I was at the gym, and the sound's not on at the gym. You just see TVs, like a lot of TVs, and I'm just like on the treadmill, elliptical, whatever I was doing today, and I'm like, what the hell? Hey, look, Orth Feet. Just an ad popped up in the middle of our thing. It's our first sponsor we've ever had on this podcast.
That's what happens with the ad blocker. You turn it off, then all the ads go crazy.
But I saw from a distance, I was like, is that George Clooney? Oh my God, he looks terrible. But I didn't realize, okay, so he's doing it for a role. That makes sense. At least he acknowledges he looks ridiculous.
Yeah. So that clears things up because I saw him on CNN a while back. I thought you were going to bring up Jordan Schultz.
Why? What was he up to?
He looked like he had a dye job.
He probably has.
He was on FS1 today. And I don't think I spelled. No, I think I had a T in his name, right?
Schultz.
Hair. Did he have a dye job, or did he actually? No one's saying anything. So maybe he didn't. Maybe I just don't.
Well, let's be honest here, and I can speak about this honestly. You know who had the worst dye job in quite some time?
Who's that, Derek?
You know who I'm talking about.
I'm not saying anything, man.
San Francisco.
I'm not saying anything.
It's It's cleaned up recently, but like a year ago when he was doing Giants pre and post with Sean Estes and Rich Aurelia, my dad was dripping all over their shoes. It was bad. It was bad.
Sweating like Giuliani. Okay. This is just.
What's the matter with your mic?
This wire has officially had it. I need to switch to the AirPods. The AirPods will do for now. I'm gonna get a new.
You sound fine. Okay.
I'm gonna get a new cord.
All right. Get your Kyle McCord. See?
Get my Kyle.
We're talking draft people. Don't freak out.
Oh, God.
Ernie.
I'll be right back.
Ernie 2.
Back, I promise.
All right. To answer your guys' question, I know some of you on Dirty Work are asking what this shirt is. This is Max Taps. So this is a brewery in Boulder, Colorado, and my old teacher that I knew in high school opened his own brewery. So I think I've worn a couple shirts that promote Max Taps. This is for my buddy David Gardner, my old high school teacher. He does a brewery in Boulder, Colorado. It's for his brewery, Max Taps. Check it out. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. We're going to mostly talk about the Warriors' victory last night against the Houston Rockets, 95-85. Mm-hmm. We'll go in depth on that. Not going to take too much time tonight. Not going to be a very long podcast. We are going to talk a little bit about the draft. Calm your tits, everybody. Calm your tits. We're going to just talk about what's going on today as far as news and rumors we've heard as it pertains to the Raiders, to the 49ers. We're not going to go in depth. Yeah. You know, if you want to go more in depth with draft stuff, God forbid, you can listen to the podcast I did over the weekend with Larry Kruger and my little brother Nick. Yeah. By the way, Nick was a hit. Nick did a great job.
Oh, I know. He agreed with me. That's what I took away from that.
What, Ash Agenti?
Yeah. Although, Derek, one little critique. The information was great. Obviously, he was great in his podcast debut. No qualms with Nick, but you set him up for failure at the start.
How is that?
You said, is this a strong or a weak class? And he instantly says, well, it's a weaker class. Mm-hmm. And Derek, for people who maybe aren't drawn into the draft and you're trying to suck in the people that really are just don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
Consider the draft a non-starter. If you want to bring them in, don't start out by asking, is it the strong or a weak class? Because then if like, luckily it's our podcast, Derek, so I would listen. But I was like, weak class. Can't wait to hear this.
Well, it's been a topic of conversation.
Sure. Maybe
it's a relevant question.
Well, it's a very relevant question at the end. That's like a terrible hook, Derek. You're trying to grab people. So I blame you.
Fine. You would always blame me. You know what? One critique I have of you, Steven,
what's that?
It was watching the Warriors game yesterday, looking on my timeline, see what people are talking about. Too much of you. You're tweeting too much during Warriors game. Knock it off.
Man, I'm trying to get back into the algorithm.
I know you are, but my man, it's not happening. I don't know what to tell you. I'm in the same boat. I don't know what happened as soon as Elon took over Twitter. Just things suck right now.
No, Derek, see, this is how it goes. It starts with you, and you just got to give me one repost, bud, and I'm back in it.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah, it's
I don't remember you ever liking anything I've ever tweeted, Steven.
Because I don't like anything that you tweet.
That's so mean. You're the Dane Brugler of tweets.
No, dude.
By the way, back in it. Oh, sorry. We had Krug on too, and I was telling him about the Dane Brugler going in on Shamar Stewart, call him sloppy fat. He goes, well, that's usually a criteria, a characterization you would do for draft prospects. It's pretty appropriate.
Sure. Yeah. Sloppy fat. He's got
sloppy fat.
Yeah. It's not normal fat. It's not tough fat. It's sloppy fat.
Yeah. It's sloppy fat. You don't want to be sloppy fat. You want to be buff fat. Mm-hmm. All right.
Jokes aside though, Nick did a great job. I'm very curious to see where things land. It's just the thing that gets me though with draft analysis is you guys were giving very sound opinions on what teams should do and the best decisions. And I think that's what people are going for when they're giving these when they're given these picks. It's like, this is what the team's best option is.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing we never take into account is the stupidity of some teams.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're counting on the New York Giants to make the smart decision. We're counting on the Cleveland Browns to make the smart decision. Like, there's a reason these teams are picking in the top 10. It's because they suck in the front office.
Yeah, but it'd be hard to get these wrong with the generational guys that are available in Abdul Carter or
Right.
Travis Hunter.
Well, Derek, but here's also one more thing. So if Abdul Carter ends up going number 1, that'd be crazy, because I legitimately had a random, not for any like actual reasons, not for any football reasons or expert analysis reasons, but because I had a dream about it last night. I had a dream.
Oh, you had a dream. Oh, you see now you're dreaming about the draft, Steven. God, you're full of shit.
If he goes first overall, Derek, that means my dreams are coming true. And so I might look at life just a little differently. This could change. This could alter everything.
Requiem for Steven's dreams.
Oh my God. My whole life depends on Abdul Carter and the Tennessee Titans.
By the way, when's the last time you seen that movie?
I never have.
And it's a good movie, but if you don't want to fuck up your afternoon or night, it's a good one to avoid.
That's the thing. I've clicked on it, close to hitting play, and I'm like, I don't know.
It'll ruin your day. It's kind of like I don't know, like there's some movies where you're just like, obviously it's historically relevant, but you're just like, oh man, God, Jesus.
Yeah. That's kind of what the penultimate episode of Paradise did. For Jesse and myself, the second to last one, it's too real. God, imagine if this actually happens. And Jesse had to watch, like, I actually could go straight to bed, but Jesse had to just start watching Toy Story 2 to get her mind off it.
Out of all of them, Toy Story 2, huh?
Loves Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is a good one. One of the greatest sequels of all time.
Because of Jesse?
No. Well, I mean, no. I mean, I love the name, but no.
Well, I don't know if Jesse's a fan of Toy Story 2 because Jesse was a new character.
No, I think she's just a fan of it because it's an objectively good movie.
I would say Toy Story 3 is way better than Toy Story 2.
Disagree, my friend.
Really?
Yeah. Toy Story 2 is great. I think a lot of people would agree.
I don't know if I had to rank them. Obviously, Toy Story 1, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, and we don't even need Toy Story 4.
No. Toy Story 2.
We're getting Toy Story 5 for whatever fucking reason.
I think it works. I think it just 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, I think it's right there.
Yeah, AJ Cruz is with you. Blasphemy. Toy Story 2 is the best. I disagree. And AJ Cruz coming down my road lately. He disagrees with everything I say. Like right here, Derek. Derek's tweets are like dry bologna sandwiches. How dare you?
Ooh.
Those are final words, man. If I see you at the draft party, which you guys don't want to talk about, I'm gonna fight you.
Maybe that's a punishing thing we should do. Instead of you eating hot sauce, just eat a dry bologna sandwich.
No.
Yeah, see, that sounds like something that's going to gross you out. It's better than you just enjoying your hot sauce for a bit.
I guess that is appropriate. By the way, Rock a New Era, I haven't done this on the podcast. It's all the way over there, so if I awkwardly grab it, I'll leave it over there. Rock a New Era gave me a fantastic birthday present. He gave me a humidor for cigars.
Oh, how about that?
Because Steven couldn't be bothered to smoke said cigars on his wedding night, so I took him to Florida. Well, they'll get dry and crusty, and I'll put them in the humidor.
Didn't you get kicked out of the bar and you weren't allowed back in? I didn't even know
I did.
Cigars.
Well, later on, I was saying to you, hey, I got these cigars, and you were like, bro, I'm trying to get home. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I'll let you be.
Is that what I said?
Yeah. Well, I cleaned it up for the podcast. You said something entirely different.
Oh shit. Whoops.
I was kicked out of the bar at a dance because if you leave the bar for a split second at 11 o'clock at night, midnight, they kick you out for whatever reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Let's get to some Warriors basketball. So great transition. So Warriors win last night, 95-85, and it's been kind of a repeat of what we've seen the last three games. From the last game of the regular season, from the playing game in against Memphis till last night, it's really been Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler just carrying the team offensively. And I think they were incredible last night. Steph Curry, that off-balance three-pointer he had on the right side of the court was incredible. I mean, if you haven't seen the shot that Joe Mixon took from his camera, it's awesome. But really, I give credit to the defense last night. I mean, you and I were texting during the game, and you're like, "You think the Rockets cracked 90 points?" And I'm like, "No, dude. I think they get to like 86, and it was close. 85, just one off." But yeah, I thought that the way that they defended and like when the Rockets were cutting the lead, like the Warriors had a 24-point lead in the third quarter, and then by the end of the third quarter, the Rockets got back into the game 69-60. And in that fourth quarter, just I thought the way they were so feisty around the rim, getting steals, getting rebounds, they played a great defensive effort. So give kudos to Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler and even Brandon Pajemski and Moses Moody for their defensive efforts. But I will say Brandon Pajemski and Moody had clutch shots, but I do want to see more from them just offensively. I know it's a lot to ask because they're really young and inexperienced and haven't got much playing time in the postseason. But if the Warriors are going to win a championship, they do need more offensive production from those guys. And I would say even on the boards, I know the Rockets are a really good rebounding team. Kevon Looney needs to be the guy that we saw 3 years ago in the 2022 playoffs where he was getting 20 rebounds against the Mavericks and whoever he was facing. So good win. They definitely need more offensively, but very impressive for game one of the series.
Yeah, it was just a grimy physical game, man. I just don't think we're used to seeing that. How often are we going to see the Warriors shoot 37% from three, 47% from the field, only scoring 95 points and them still coming away with the win? It was their best defensive effort of the night. I think because we're so hyper-focused on the lack of offense, we kind of forgot just how good they were defensively and how bad the Rockets are offensively.
Yeah, they are bad.
They don't have any shot makers, man. Like Amen Thompson is awesome. He's athletic. He's young. He's pretty much everything you really want in Jonathan Kuminga, or hope that you could get in Jonathan Kuminga. Except he can't really score. I mean, he's got the mid-range game and he can go one-on-one with guys. But is he the type that's gonna, I don't know, score at will? It feels like he kind of needs some momentum going his way, and he could drive to the hoop and maybe get a bucket on you that way. Fred VanVleet is just not as good of a shooter as he once was. I actually overestimated Fred VanVleet and the impact that he could have on this series. I know Steven Adams was a rebounding machine, but the dude was exhausted by the fourth quarter, like dead tired. Everyone's wondering why they didn't play Steven Adams. Well, if you heard Steve Kerr on the bench doing his mic'd up stuff, and he's asking, "Hey, Draymond, you good? Steph,
Yep.
You good?" He's asking the old guys. I guarantee you, Steven Adams is on the Rockets bench after Udoka asked if he's okay. "I'm not good, Mike. Can't go out there anymore." And like, Dylan Brooks? I mean, he's just hyper focused on guarding Steph. He can't even do anything on offense. And then Jalen Green has just been ice cold against the Warriors all season.
Yeah.
The dude averaged, if you take away the 21 points he had in the last game they played, the fifth game they played in the regular season, if you take away those 21 points, he averaged 10 points per game against them. Like, for whatever reason, Jalen Green is just the Warriors are a bad matchup for Jalen Green. And I think that this game kind of proved that the 21 is more of an outlier. So we're probably going to get that at one point in this series, but I'm not expecting Jalen Green to be a factor night in and night out. So this really is kind of like the Rockets series. It kind of feels the same way, except they just don't have any shooting and they don't have any guys that can create their own shots consistently. So I came away feeling real good from this. And the fact that they knocked down those clutch shots, man, the Jimmy Butler fadeaway, the midi that he hit there, Moses Moody with a big time three, Brandon Pajemski, obviously with that huge rebound down the stretch. Look, they closed it out. And I think we would have been, talking in a different way, pre Jimmy Butler. Like, they've given up a lot of 20 point leads this season, and we've seen them squander it completely. So, and there's also that number 30 guy. He's kind of good.
Yeah, I'd say he's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of worried about that, like the amount of time that Steve was letting Jimmy Butler play and Steph Curry play. Like I think Jimmy had 42 minutes and Curry had 40. But with the amount of space between games in the series, I actually feel pretty good about that. And like we had a Dave DeFore on with us today who writes for The Athletic, covers the NBA. He was like, well, the thing about Jimmy is he's only played 55 games this season and was suspended a good deal of time against the or while he was with the Miami Heat. And he kind of didn't exert a ton of energy while he played in the regular season. Like obviously he's out there and competing, but for the most part, like I was asking for him to do a lot more. And during the regular season with the Warriors, he was mostly a facilitator. He was getting buckets when he could, and he was getting the free throw line. But like he wasn't going crazy like he's doing right now. He's doing playoff Jimmy, so he's well rested. With Steph, yeah, you worry about him doing too much, and we saw when he's gassed, like he only scored 3 points in the last minute against the Rockets, and then last night he's incredible. So I'll say this, as long as the series is quick, I am really confident in the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like I watching the game last night, defensively, I think they're on point right now, and I trust them a lot. It's just it's a matter of Draymond Green guarding the five, but we know what he's capable of at this time. So I feel like he can cover Shagun. I feel like he can or Şengün. I feel like he can cover Steven Adams. So I feel fairly confident in their defensive capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as offensively, they scored 95 points last night, and the amazing stat is in the last 3 seasons, the Warriors, when they score 95 points, they haven't won a game. So the fact that the Rockets were that inept offensively is alarming. But you give credit to the Warriors defense as well. But the Rockets going 6-29 from 3, not great. And they're not 3-point shooters. Like even the game that the Rockets won a couple of Sundays ago, they didn't shoot fantastic from 3-point range. It was just the Warriors offensively just not, they were gassed from playing in the Lakers game and the Nuggets game. So, yeah, the Rockets showed how inexperienced they were, and I think that Ime Udoka is going to, scheme it up defensively to bother Steph at times. Like I was kind of worried about Fred VanVleet covering him because during the 2019 NBA Finals, he was a pain in the ass with Steph Curry. But no, I mean, I feel fairly confident. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I think the Rockets going to be the more desperate team come game 2. But I thought Draymond Green hit it on the head after the game where he was like, "We won, but we didn't play our best basketball." And I think that's the best thing in sports is when you win a game, but you didn't play at 100%. You didn't play your best game. So I think the Warriors are going to come out stronger. I think the Rockets are going to come out stronger, and they're playing with house money right now. When you win the first game on the road, you can kind of figure things out in game 2. But I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the Warriors take game 2, and who knows if they sweep them just based on the Rockets' inability to score. Yeah, I think this is the Warriors series. I will say I am a little bit surprised, not incredibly surprised. I am a little bit surprised for the 3rd game in a row that Jonathan Kuminga got a DMP. And I thought he served a purpose in this role. I thought there's many a time where I'm watching the game and the 3-point shots aren't landing. And with how Jimmy's so physical and able to get to the rim, I thought that maybe Jonathan Kuminga could do the same thing in this series. And he's had success against the Rockets. But those games were pre-Jimmy Butler. And I think that Steve Kerr was kind of as honest as he could be, saying to the media, when getting Jimmy Butler, he served the purpose that Jonathan Kuminga had before. So having him out there is kind of redundant. And they're not going to play each other at the same time. Steve Kerr kind of threw that out there like, we're not doing that again. But I did think at some point Jonathan Kuminga would play in this series, but I don't know what the hell's happening behind closed doors. I think that Kerr's just over him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he plays, but I'm kind of leaning in the direction that he's not going to play at all.
Well, I don't think we'll see him in game 2. But if the bench has the same performance that it has in this game, then I wouldn't be shocked if we do see Kuminga out there, because Quentin Post looked awful. He looked like the stage was way too big for him. Guy Santos, I thought, actually looked the best of the bunch. So shout out to you.
Knocking down that 3.
But Gary Payton II He looked good, but at the end of the day, he was -10, and he was the only Warrior in the minus, in plus minus. And I don't really take a plus minus too seriously, but I think when there are certain factors that play into it, I look at that, I think, man, what happened with him on the floor to where they were -10 when he was out there? So look, if the fact that they combined for 14 points on the bench and that matched Brandon Pajemski's point total, and we're saying Brandon Pajemski needs to pick things up, dude, the bench absolutely needs to pick up the scoring too. That's going to be like no regular playoff fan is going to be wanting to see what happens with the Warriors bench. But I think that's going to be an interesting one when, the Warriors start to fatigue a little bit and you need some production. Like, what if Steph's not hitting these circus shots?
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at the Rockets defense. I'm not saying like the Warriors totally executed against the Rockets defense and took advantage of them. I think they just really, really grinded for that, even though the Rockets were smothering them. I don't know if it's going to be that way all season. So all series. So the non-Steph minutes are going to be something to pay attention to. They were terrific in those last night, but that was because of Jimmy Butler. Like, what if Jimmy Butler doesn't have it? Who's going to be the player to step up? And I just wonder if Kuminga is ever going to be the answer there. But I don't think he's going to play in game 2. I think Kerr's going to give it one more shot with this bench. And if they produce the same results, then I wouldn't be surprised if he needs to make a change. But, that's later down the line. My buddy John is in the chat.
I saw this.
Known him for a long time. Last time we watched a playoff game was with the Rockets, and they ended up losing. So we haven't watched a playoff game together since.
Is Jonathan Wright your buddy from preschool?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've known him for a long time.
Nice.
Question for y'all. I trust the Warriors so much more on the road than at home. I feel like they lose it. I feel like the hell are you trying to type, John? I feel like they
lose game 3 or 4 at home.
Because of that, I think game 2 is not a must win, but close to it. Dude, like I kind of trust the Warriors anywhere.
Yeah.
Oops. I trust the Warriors anywhere, but I kind of get what he's saying, because like that's where they did a lot of their damage. It felt like they had some 5-6 game road trips since Jimmy came back, and they were mostly successful. It's hard to tell the difference because they were perfect. They were 24-17 both at home and away in the regular season. So I don't know. That's a hard question.
No, I mean, I get what he's saying, because in their last 3 home games, they haven't played great basketball. Like they had that game against the San Antonio Spurs and the last game of the season against the Clippers, and Rockets? They got by against the Memphis Grizzlies to win the play-in. But I think the Warriors, I think they bring that intensity to Chase Center now. And I'm not saying Chase Center is anything close to what Oracle was back in the day during the playoffs, but when there's a big game, it gets loud. So I do believe that they'll turn it on and at home during the postseason. But yeah, they have been a little lackadaisical, and that's the thing. Like if they go up 2-0, like I don't want them being like, okay, we're chilling now. We get back to Chase, and then the Rockets come and surprise you, and they've beaten the Warriors at Chase this year, just a couple weeks ago. So I'm not ready to say that yet, but they definitely have been stronger on the road in the last month of the season with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
But I would expect them to turn it up at home for the postseason.
That's where I really see playoff Jimmy coming to life again. I mean, we saw it in the regular season finale, obviously, but I think there's just something about the home crowd that gets him going.
Yeah.
Like when the fans are kind of egging him on a little bit, he says he's, going with the flow of the game. And that's kind of what's dictating when he turns into playoff Jimmy, when he needs to score, whether he needs to rebound. But I think the fans have something to do with it too. And he sees one go in. Like, isn't that crazy that we haven't even seen this with Jimmy yet, where he's taken over when he shouldn't? Like, that's why he's so smart. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't seen that yet, where he's just gone full ISO ball and not bothered to get anyone involved. And he's done it to the detriment of the team. We haven't really seen that yet. He's only taken over a few times. And when he has, it really felt like he needed to.
Yeah. I mean, Steph Curry was talking about it last night with the TNT crew, where he was like, we kind of have, the Peyton Manning, audibles when we're like, okay, this is the offense is getting stagnant. We're not moving the ball around. We go to the Jimmy ISO offense, and that's a good audible to have. So, yeah, I don't think that Jimmy will ever just, take it upon himself and go rogue like Jonathan Kuminga in that game in Portland. I think that they'll discuss it, and Steve like, hey, this is the time where we need Jimmy to take over.
Yeah.
We need Jimmy from Miami, playoff Jimmy to
Right.
then be the guy to go get, 25 points like he did last night. What do you think of Steve Kerr in the post game where he said, I don't think this Rocket team is not what you see in modern day NBA. It's like what you see in 1997 with their defensive style. And I think he's giving credit to them, but I also think it's kind of a mild dig where it's like they don't have the capability of going shot for shot with us. Their specialty is defense, and that's what their coach as a player was all about. So I think that the Rockets are going to hear that, not get offended by it by any means, but I think always, whatever you were terrible at in one game, then you become great at the next game in the playoffs. That's just what happens. And with the space and time between both games, I would not be the least bit surprised if the Rockets come out guns blazing trying to shoot threes. Now, are they capable of doing it? I don't know. They're not. They haven't been able to do it all season long. So that's my biggest question is just how do the Warriors adapt to what the Rockets are going to bring as far as how desperate they're going to be come Wednesday.
It did come off a little patronizing.
A little bit.
Yeah, where he's trying to give a compliment, but really the old school teams have kind of been phased out because, well, there's 3-point shooters on every team now, top to bottom, and they don't really have that. I think he's speaking the truth, but I think the Rockets know it, though. Yeah. And I think they were just dejected after that game because they don't have a guy like number 30.
No, they don't.
Dude, Derek, we try not to overreact, go straight to hyperbole, which we tend to do. But now that we're like a couple of years removed from, a true 7-game series, and the fact that Steph's 37 years old, I saw Jason Timpf, who he's a really smart basketball mind. He does a podcast, I think, for the Volume Sports Network, The Volume, Live Moods. That was Colin Cowherd. He just had that you remember that? We talked about it once where Colin Cowherd's outside in his backyard and he's gathering his crew of the Volume members.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember.
A cigar, and he says, I'm in a real good moods today.
No, I remember.
But anyway, Jason Timpf, he knows what he's talking about. And I was watching just a little bit of his breakdown today, and he basically talked about how this was one of Steph's best ever playoff games. And I just think when you factor everything into the Warriors, it's not just Steph, but I'm willing to hear, this was one of Steve Kerr's best coaching jobs that he's ever done, or this was one of Steph Curry's best ever games, or this is one of Draymond Green's best ever defensive games that he's put on in the playoffs. Like, I'm willing to hear all of that just because of the age these guys are at and who they're up against now. Like, no one expected them to be here. And really, they sunned the Rockets, I thought, in game 1. Beat them at their own game, really. And Steph doing what he was doing at 37, no, the point total is not going to reflect his best ever game. And I think we're all going to be pointing to game 4 against the Celtics in the finals as potentially his best ever, one of his best ever. And it's going to be hard to top that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you're going to look at a straight 31-point game that he had in the playoffs, I'm not going to argue with you that it was one of the best that he's ever had. Just the difficulty, the high level of shots, it's unreal, man. I thought I really didn't even, I thought it from the start of the game, the way they were face guarding him. I mean, it was in the first quarter. He's getting back. They're getting back on offense after a stop, and Jabari Smith just gives him a shoulder and knocks him off balance. I'm like, my God, they're still trying to beat him up, and they just can't do anything about it. Maybe that was one of those tweets that you saw pop up. I tweeted that one. Maybe that one popped up on your algorithm, Derek.
It's definitely something that need to be tweeted, Stephen. As far as Curry,
he's doing my job.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's his 7th time scoring 30 or more against the Houston Rockets in the postseason. Just think about that. The fact that, and JD made a great point I was listening to on the postgame show when I was driving back home yesterday. think about what the Houston Rockets have dealt with as a franchise. James Harden left. They tore down their whole team. Daryl Morey got fired. And they're trying to rebuild this team. They're trying to start from scratch. They get Ime Udoka. They draft all these guys. They trade for Dylan Brooks. They sign Fred VanVleet. It's the first time they're in the postseason since 2018 at home. 2019, they were in the bubble, and they lost to the Lakers, I believe. But they've waited all this time to make the postseason, and then right again, they play Steph Curry. And Steph Curry has tormented them for years. And he's always big brothered them. Last night was incredible. Kevin Harlan describing his 3-point shot was awesome. Like, geometrically, that's not supposed to happen. Because it felt like a quarterback that was getting sacked in the process and then just threw a Hail Mary up for grabs, and whatever happened. And Steph Curry just heaved that ball up in the air. Like, how the fuck did that go in?
Yeah, it was one of those. Shot. It was one of those like Mahomes is parallel to the ground while taking a sack and throwing a touchdown to Travis Kelce. It was one of
exactly.
Those.
But it's one of his best performances given the age and how the defense was playing him. But just think about all the moments he's had against the Rockets. Like, my favorite all-time moment in the Warriors postseason non-finals was the game. I think you and I were watching it at Schroeder's. The Warriors went into Houston. This is 2019. Everybody was like, Kevin Durant's out. Oh my God, how could they win? How could they win this game without Kevin Durant? And I'm like, do you guys forget they didn't have Kevin Durant for the first championship? And obviously the Rockets don't have championship pedigree, so I think they're going to win this game. And Steph Curry was a big old goose egg in the first half, and then I think he went on to score 33 points in the second half. And him and Klay Thompson collectively just kicked their ass and ended their season. That's my all-time favorite moment, where they knew that they were that much better than the Rockets, and they just stepped on their throats.
The atmosphere in Schroeder's that night was
it was electric. Too. It was electric. So Steph Curry's had countless moments against the Houston Rockets. Last night was a great moment as well. And it's just what he's able to do at 37 years old. Like, he was having fun out there. Like, I thought he looked kind of like the Grinch after that 1-3. And he gets back on defense. He kind of looks around to see if anybody's looking at him. He got his eyebrows up. Very, very Grinch-like, from like when Jim Carrey is going into town, like that slow motion shot. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, I think that I think I'm nitpicking a little bit too much with this team. Like, I think the last 3 games have had me on the edge, where I'm like, God, they had a 24-point lead. Jimmy Butler's making 3-point shots. Steph Curry's making 3-point shots, and the Rockets creep back in the game. And it's just because they are a very good team, but they're not the juggernauts that they were in the past. They're not going to crush you like they were with Kevin Durant. And there's so many things that I see like flaws in their game, where the rebounds are bad. Like, they're getting killed on the glass against the Rockets, and points in the paint's not good either. And I'm looking for Kevon Looney to be that guy. But in the past, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were able to shoot out of those situations. Now, I don't think so. I think that both guys, well, obviously Klay Thompson's not there anymore, but Steph Curry can only do so much. He can only make so many threes that he kind of wears down in the fourth quarter a little bit, and that's where Jimmy Butler has to play Robin. But Steph does enough to get you the lead, and then you feel fine, and then guys play defense. It's, they'll preserve the victory. But it's not like the kill shot like it was in the past, where, all right, Steph can't do this, so Klay is going to take his shots, and then, they're up by a shit ton, they're up by 20, and the game's over in the fourth quarter. It's just going to be different. It's going to be like where they have their runs. I think they went on an 18-3 run last night in the second quarter, and it was going on in the third quarter, but then the Rockets came back into the game. So it's just different. I have to get used to this style, and I don't know if it's sustainable for them to win a championship, but I think it is sustainable enough for them to advance during this series.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. I don't think the Rockets can outscore them, even though you just talked about how they aren't as dangerous as they once were scoring. But at the same time, those were some of the greatest teams that the NBA has ever seen. So it's it's unfair to almost make that comparison, right? So, dude, I got all the faith in the world. What do we do to stop Şengün? Like, this guy, he hasn't done anything yet. he was getting there at the end of that Rockets game in the regular season, the one where they won. But Şengün is good, and he's frustratingly good. Like, he doesn't look like he should be, and he's like the poster on Draymond. Just the random little open mid-range shots that he would get. Kind of just the way he runs on defense with his shoulders back a little bit. I'm like, this Şengün guy, I think he's going to do something to piss off.
He's a goon.
I think he's going to do something to piss off Dub Nation this series. I think he's going to be up there as like enemy number 2 behind Dylan Brooks.
Oh, well, yeah. Dylan Brooks is number 1. And you know what? Fred VanVleet might be that guy too.
Yeah, but I think they respect Van Vliet because he's a champion.
Yeah, that's
true. They take the rings thing really seriously. We already saw Draymond push Şengün for whatever reason at the free throw line.
I saw that. So yesterday, I was yelling. I was watching the game with my little brother, and I was like, "Don't, Draymond, don't do that," because I think he was literally upset that he was going to the free throw line, and he was telling Şengün, "You don't deserve these free throws. Get the fuck out of the way." And Şengün's like, "Bro, I got the foul. You get the fuck out of the way."
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a villain in that regard. I think he's just where's Şengün from?
I don't know.
Okay, well, Draymond usually doesn't like European big men, so he's that guy. I think Draymond does not like him. They get into it. He respects his game, but they're shit talking during the game.
He's from Turkey.
Turkey, okay.
Oh,
Ime Udoka might be that guy. He might say something in the post game that irritates Dub Nation.
Yeah, maybe. He was kind of tame last night. I listened to pretty much everything. He was fairly tame for the most part. I think it's just going to be. I think it's going to be on the court. I don't know. Something's going to give. Going to be interested to see how they guard him next time, because it almost felt like they couldn't figure out Şengün, at least in the first half. He kind of cooled off in the second half. Moses Moody was primarily guarding him in total for 4 minutes last night, if you really want to count the stats. But one-on-one, he only got off a couple of shots. He actually got more on that on Draymond and Jimmy Butler combined, but that's probably within the flow of the offense and just how the play was drawn up, not just one-on-one stuff, which he's not really built for. But anyway, I don't know what it is about Şengün. It's just, I feel like there's going to be one moment. All it takes is one moment, man, where you're just on the shit list forever. Dylan Brooks had that moment, and Dylan Brooks even had another where he tackled Gary Payton.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
What the hell was that?
That stems from the Memphis series.
This
3 years ago.
does not want Gary Payton to play basketball.
Well, he was the one that was the whole broke the code thing, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I think that stems back from that. And I'm still waiting for Draymond and Dylan Brooks to have some moment where either of them get ejected, because do you remember it was after the playoff series, but Dylan Brooks had a sit-down interview with ESPN where he was like, "I don't like Draymond. I don't like him. I don't respect his game. I don't like anything about him." Then Draymond went on his podcast and was like, 1, you should respect my game because it's close to mine. 2, you don't like the Warriors? Well, you were growing up when we were a team, so you should look up to us. They hate each other. And Draymond's been very good this season. I wouldn't put it past him, though, if he sees Dylan Brooks, and that would just agitate the hell out of him. Yeah. And also, I will say, how good does it look if you lose a game, but you braided your hair to the point where you have the Rockets logo in the back of your head? Is that a stupid look if you lose?
Sure, but he's trying to.
Yeah, I know.
To who was it? Jeff Green or whatever.
Jeff Green did that back in the day?
Yeah, I think so. It was in 2017. Am I getting the wrong Green? There's been a lot of Greens in the league.
Jeff Green, I remember playing for the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm pretty sure he played for the Rockets too, though.
No, it's not that Jeff Green. It's another Green.
Oh, different Jeff Green? God, so many Greens.
There's a lot of Greens, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking him up.
Well, yeah, I mean, Otis Bird, yeah. No, I definitely know that Brooks is showing his loyalty to the Rockets. I get it. But, yeah, I don't know.
Gerald Green.
Gerald Green. I remember him now. I remember him now.
Dunk contest, Gerald Green.
That's right.
Speaking of Rockets dunk contest, I don't know if he was like a radio guy or if he's like a stats guy, but the Rockets have a dude who looked exactly like Chase Budinger, who was speaking into a microphone behind a scorer's table. I don't know who it was.
Did not notice that.
Fun fact, Toyota Center, Chase Budinger.
Okay. So after last night, are you still saying Rockets in 6, or do you think this series could go even quicker?
Warriors in 6. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What am I saying? Right. Yeah. Warriors in 6.
I'm still saying Dubs in 6. I think the Rockets can make it a series. I don't think this is like, I do think it's just one game, but 85 points is glaring. So I
know.
I don't want to amend that, Derek, because I'm just not that kind of guy. You know?
No, I'm gonna stick with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors did win in Houston. And I don't think they sweep them. I could see 5. The thing I want to avoid is a long series. If this goes 7, I'm not fairly confident because I just don't want. Well, I just don't want to. I want to have to get to the point where Steph Curry has to score 50 again to advance to the next round. I think that they're obviously better than this team. They're more experienced than this team. They may be not as athletic as this team, but they know how to beat this team. And I think they should be able to do it fairly quickly than what they did 2 years ago against the Kings, where they were not dicking around, but they were like feeling them out. Where game 1, like, okay, all right, this team's legit. Game 2, you're like, shit. All right. And Draymond stomped on Sabonis, and that led to a whole thing. He was suspended for game 3. And then the Warriors figured things out, but then they dicked around in that game 6. I just don't want this series to go too long. That's where I start to worry. But it's clear the Warriors are the better team.
Look, Derek, I'm going to say the Warriors in 6 unless Jalen Green proves he's got that dog in him.
I don't think he's got that dog in him.
Unless he's got that dog in him, because this is the time when superstars are supposed to show it. You know, Anthony Edwards showed it when he was with the Timberwolves. Obviously, last year was kind of his coming out party. Jalen Green's been in the league for a while now. He's 23 years old. I know this is the first time the Rockets have reached the playoffs, but either you have it or you don't. So let's see if Jalen Green has that dog in him.
Yeah.
And if he again goes, what was it, 3 for 12 from the field? If he does that again and again and again, then we might have to say Jalen Green, Gerald Green, Jeff Green. Warriors in 5.
You really want to be quoting Shannon Sharp now?
Oh, yeah. No, do not want to do that.
Jalen Green and Amen Thompson, both from the East Bay? Well, no, Amen Thompson's from Oakland. Jalen Green's from Napa?
Yeah, Jalen Green's from the Central Valley. He just transferred to a high school in Napa, or a school in Napa to play basketball. Whereas Amen Thompson was born in Oakland and I think raised here for a little bit for his childhood, but then moved to Florida to play high school basketball in Florida. So
gotcha.
You got that going on.
There you go. So there you go. We will see what happens at game 2 come Wednesday.
And Shengun from Turkey.
There you go.
Steven Adams from New Zealand, Derek. Do you want me to keep going?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
By the way, yeah, that Shannon Sharp thing. Did you see what he posted today in response to all the allegations going on with him?
Oh no! What did he do? What did he say?
He didn't say anything. He just posted the text exchange he has with this woman, and it is graphic as hell. Good Lord.
Oh boy.
Not like, anything that would be damning towards him or her, really. It's just they're sexting with each other, and it's extremely graphic. And Shannon Sharp, to help his name, decided that was a good idea to tweet that out today.
Yeah, that when reading that lawsuit, or rather not the lawsuit, but rather the article that came out, and listening to that IG Live, or not, having heard that IG Live previously,
the sex
makes you think, geez, did he? I don't know if he pressed he probably pressed the live on accident, but he definitely didn't press record on accident. At least that's what this is alleging.
I would agree. Agree.
Yeah. No one just accidentally hits record.
Yeah.
Although we've all accidentally hit record when we're taking a photo, but not when we're about to get busy.
No. Unless you want to.
That's my knowledge. Got to look through my library.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You come across something, you're like, oh, I don't remember this. Whoa. It's a whole lot of me. Bonte actually had the best.
lot of me.
It's a whole lot of me. Bonte actually had the best tweet today where he was like,
No.
Unk is wild for posting this.
Yeah.
And he is. Like, that's and did you see God, I think it takes a lot for Pat McAfee to be noble. Paul Heyman was on with the McAfee show today to talk about WrestleMania. And he made some reference to Shannon Sharp, and Pat McAfee for the first time in his career was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. We don't need to be talking about that. That's disrespectful. And Paul Heyman was like, hey, I don't give a damn. I'm here to talk shit.
Yeah.
Not good.
That was a fun little WrestleMania promo that ESPN did all week.
Did you watch it?
No, but I just look up on the screen and just it's all WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I get it. There's so many people who are WWE fans. Obviously, our buddies Alex and Cody are huge WWE fans, but to dedicate
Sorry, go ahead.
To dedicate all the sports coverage to ESPN's coverage to it, it's just like this isn't real.
Yeah.
It's John Cena. See, this is the thing that gets me. John Cena wins for the 17th time. I can't believe it. Because they wrote it that way. You can't believe that they would write it that way. That's what writers do.
But he turned heel, Steven.
Yeah, and it's not even believable. This is the issue that I have with WWE nowadays. Back in the day, it used to be these guys were mythological, Derek, and maybe that's because we were young at that time. But it's like I felt like The Undertaker was truly The Undertaker. Stone Cold Steve Austin was Stone Cold. The Rock was The Rock. And now Logan Paul is just Logan Paul. Very athletic, very good on the mat. But all I'm watching is Logan Paul. I'm not invested in the character. I don't care about Logan Paul, no matter what he could do. It's just not believable anymore.
I think it's because there's been so many documentaries made and so many guys switching over to different careers.
Yeah.
Where it's too fake now. But then again, like, what do we know? Like, we don't watch. Right. And it's not my thing, at least. I know it's not really your thing either.
No,
I'll tell you what.
I'm not trying to like diss on the people that like it. I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I am crapping on your parade.
Don't yuck their yum, Steven.
I am kind of crapping on their parade a little bit, but I mean, I just got done watching Blockers not too long ago where John Cena is getting butt chugged. Like, do you remember that? Yeah,
I haven't seen Blockers.
John Cena is hilarious.
John Cena is a funny guy. But
he plays this overprotective dad, and they try to follow their two daughters because they snuck into their phones, and their daughters said they're like going to lose their virginity on prom night. So a bunch of his parents follow the daughters, and John Cena is one of them, and he plays like this nerdy dad, and it's really, really funny.
I always thought that John Cena wasn't a better actor than The Rock. I mean, maybe actually, but
I think so. I'm 100% in on that. Batista's number 1, John Cena 2, The Rock's 3.
Batista's a better actor than John Cena?
Batista's awesome. He's a great actor. He actually acts in real movies.
I've only seen Guardians of the Galaxy with him.
Yeah, he's been in others, man. He's good.
Okay. I would say, though, John Cena at least can be self-deprecating, where The Rock is like, I'm not losing a fight in a movie. Fuck that. John Cena can, run around in his underwear and Peacemaker, and that he's funny. He's absolutely funny. I think that you and I need to, and I wish we did this, plan it out a lot better, but we'll get him on, and I've talked to him. Eventually, we'll get Baby Huey on to talk about wrestling and his side of things, about the way he views it. Yeah, there's John Cena in Blockers.
Saw it, Ernie. What do you got? It's real. And again, the movie's really funny. I highly recommend it.
Okay. All right. As far as the other playoffs in the NBA, anything stand out to you? I mean, the Timberwolves kicking the crap out of the Lakers was nice.
I'm going. Hang on. I'm sorry. Joke flew over my head, Ernie. Where is he? God damn it.
Because you can't see him.
We need to end this podcast now. I'm ashamed. I'm so ashamed.
He got you.
Damn it. What's my life now? What is life? Anyway.
I think you'll be fine.
Derek, full disclosure, I did not watch any game ones this weekend besides the Warriors and Rockets because I was at a wedding all weekend, so I didn't really have a chance to watch anything live. I guess the thing that stood out to me was Joe Mazzulla telling Jason Tatum to get up.
I didn't see that. What, he told him to get up?
Dude, hang on. You didn't see this?
No, I didn't. I mean, I'll say too, even though I wasn't going to a wedding this weekend, I had a lot of the games on the background while I was doing stuff.
Yeah.
But the games that stood out to me were the Nuggets and Clippers. That's a great series that went to overtime. The Timberwolves owning the Lakers. And I think that they have major issues, as we talked about, with their size. I think LeBron James and Luka are incredible, but they're attacking them the same way that teams are attacking the Warriors. It's just a matter of Luka and LeBron, can they overcome it with their shooting? And Anthony Edwards, like, you can make the argument he may be the best player in all basketball right now. What happened? So this is Joe Mazzulla, and so this is the Celtics and Magic yesterday.
Yes, this is after Tatum went down, and the podcast listeners aren't going to be able to hear it because he's not mic'd up for this. So this is a total video thing, and this is why you should be tuning into Just Your Opinion Man live pretty much after every Warrior game now for through the playoffs. Normally we're on Tuesday, Thursdays. Like, subscribe, follow, and that's his trainer walking up alongside him. And this was after the Jason Tatum injury. You can clearly see Mazzulla mouth the words, "Get up."
Officials will obviously look at that. Like he's soft for not getting up, or just get up, please get up because we need you.
Well, I didn't see the injury, but from what I read, people thought he kind of embellished it a little bit, and it didn't look that serious. And Joe Mazzulla is a nutcase in the best way possible.
He says he watches The Town every day.
Yes, he's the best. And he just told the trainer, don't go out there. And then you can kind of hear it in the background of the broadcast.
Officials will obviously look at that. He screams, "Get up."
Oh man.
Yeah, he's a hard ass. I like it.
So that's what I took away. Hey, Joe, what's your favorite show on ESPN? Oh, blew it.
Oh, it had to buffer.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. But yeah, that stood out. I mean, the Celtics should easily win that series against the Magic. I mean, pretty much all the home teams won except for the Timberwolves and the Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, OKC just annihilated Memphis. Yeah, Cleveland beat Miami. Yeah, everything that we kind of expected is kind of going into play, with the exception of Minnesota maybe being the better team. I thought that series would. I kind of struggled with that one because everybody thought it was a foregone conclusion. The Lakers were going to advance, and everybody wants to see LeBron. The NBA wants to see LeBron keep playing with Luka, but Minnesota might be better than them right now.
Derek, it's game one.
I know. I mean, LeBron usually sleepwalks in game one, and then he turns it on later on.
We do this with Anthony Edwards because he's awesome, and every time he puts on a game like that, you're like, oh yeah, he's got the other team beat. But yeah, it's a game by game thing, and they're not going to let up. I don't think they feel like they got this series in the bag at all. It's LeBron and Luka. So, God, that would be fascinating though. If they end up letting this all go, if the Timberwolves end up beating them in the first round, maybe say it's because Luka's defense is a problem. Wonder if Nico Harrison comes away tiny bit absolved from what he did this offseason.
I don't think he could do anything that would absolve him of that. And I think that
it's crazy to me.
Nico Harrison is getting a ton of shit for what has transpired with the Luka Doncic trade and how fans, react to him. The death threats are ridiculous. Like, at the end of the day, it's just sports. You shouldn't kill a man over sports. It's ridiculous. But I think he's kind of been the sacrificial lamb because the owner wanted to trade Luka, and Nico Harrison has a relationship with Rob Pelinka, so it made it easy. But the quote today that Nico Harrison had in his press conference, where he was like, I knew fans loved Luka. I didn't know they loved him quite as much as this. I'm like, dude, come on now. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a stupid thing to say. And I hope I don't know, like
Derek, I'm not. Again, we don't want to overreact, make everything out to be a hyperbole. Um, but I haven't heard, GMs talk much, and they normally know what to say. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a person in the front office say about their star player.
yeah,
That is absolutely one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like, you could have maybe saved face at least a little bit with this trade, maybe. But to say that you didn't know that your fans would react this way, that is the most tone deaf,
yeah,
oblivious. Like, do you even pay attention at all? Like, it's all about the fans. Like, that's what sports are about. Like, obviously, it's about the players, it's about the talent, it's about the roster that you build up. But if you didn't know that the fans would react that way, have you not been paying attention? Like, that's exactly how you get. That's exactly how you get a fan base to turn on you in an instant.
yeah.
Like, this is past the point of like Joe Lacob getting booed and then creating a championship team out of the trade when the trade ended up working out. Like, this is at the point almost of no return. That was dumb. What the hell was he thinking?
It was incredibly dumb. And knowing Nico Harrison's background, I mean, he basically was an agent, and Bob Myers has definitely become a great executive, becoming, starting as an agent, then becoming a GM. But the way that Nico Harrison sounds in press conferences, he just sounds way in over his head. And I don't know if that's just because of the trade now, but yeah, that just watching a little bit of that press conference today, I was like, oh, good God, that's not good. And plus, it was very weird. Like the owner told him to do like a closed door roundtable last week with the media. Like I wouldn't agree to that.
No.
So he's getting set up to fail. I do feel bad for him at the same time. It's what you sign up for sometimes when you're general manager. And I thought Shaq and Charles Barkley put it perfectly on Inside the NBA before the game today, where they were like, he's too concerned about being liked. And at this point, you can't worry about that. The fans hate you. You made the move. Just move on and count your money.
If he was concerned about being liked, he wouldn't have said that, though.
I think he's oblivious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like our current political administration. It's like, my God. I tariff 125%. Didn't think they'd retaliate that way, though. I didn't think they'd respond. I didn't know they didn't like it.
I like the Luka trade. Don't care for Luka. Like Anthony Davis. Big body, big size. Like it. Dallas defense wins championships.
Did you see what ESPN said about Nico? Did you see what ESPN said? Oh, those terrible people over there at ESPN. Oh, it's fake news.
Fake news. That's why I watch FS1. Love FS1.
Love Nick Wright. Love Nick Wright. He's a dog.
Did you see Clay after the Mavericks were eliminated?
What, the reporter asking him if he regrets his move?
Yes.
Brutal.
Well, you don't feel sorry for him?
No.
I don't feel sorry for him either, but like in that moment, I was like, we all know what Clay is thinking, and he basically was just like, don't ask me that because the answer is obvious. I left money on the table to go join Luka Doncic, and they traded him away, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my career now.
Yeah, but like, he made that decision, and he made it with conviction.
He did.
He wasn't pushed out, and I'm never going to feel bad for anybody who does that. And I don't think Clay wants anyone to feel bad for him. It's just a part of life. You know, you make decisions and you live with, like, if you complain about them, like, see, this is the problem. Like, a lot of people in this society, Derek, on social media talk about all their issues. It's like, at the end of the day, like, no one really cares that much. Like, and I think Clay understands that. Clay's very grounded. He's very, a salt of the earth kind of guy. I think he's not looking for, he's not looking for group hugs. Like, he's like, look, man, don't bring that up. Like, I know I made a bad decision, but don't bring that up. Like, I felt bad that he got the question, but I don't feel bad for the decision that he made and everything that came along.
No. I don't feel bad for that either. Just like you could tell, like his face, the way he was looking, he was like, well, yeah, obviously, dude, but you don't need to ask that right now.
Yeah, sure. Okay. In that yes. from that standpoint, sure, I felt bad for him.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't feel bad for the decision that he made.
No,
At the end of the day, he still got $30 million. I'm trying
And
to scrape
that's
up $30 there. You know what I'm saying?
no, I know what you're saying, and I
Give me a
think
buck or
that's
two play. Come on, fork some of that over, huh? Got to
and I
eat.
know I know that Clay, yeah, it was his decision, and he wanted to move on, but yeah, it is what it is. But
I don't know. Sometimes, man, with these athletes, I know it is what it is, but like when I'm seeing a Laker fan talk trash to the Timberwolves, and Anthony Edwards is talking back, like he's a Lakers fan was talking trash to Rudy Gobert, and then Edwards is like, he's got 200 million, and he looks over at him. Oh, sorry, 300 million. Like these guys are just so wealthy. Like,
yeah,
they really.
it's a life that you and I couldn't have even imagined.
No, I mean they care, but like they care about the game.
Of course, they care.
They're pretty well set. So my sympathy level for a lot of these guys, depending on what you're talking about, as far as just straight up basketball moves. Obviously, there's personal stuff that gets into the way, and people discrediting you and doing all this everything. In that case, yes, I feel bad for them. But if you're talking just pure basketball, yeah, I don't feel terrible for a lot of these guys.
No, Clay will keep living his life, and he'll have all that money, and he'll have Rocco, and he'll have boats, and he'll have beautiful IG models. His life is fine. He's got 4 championships. At the end of the day, Klay Thompson's going to the Hall of Fame. So
he'll be all right.
He'll be all right. All right, real quick, draft. It's happening Thursday. Not going in depth. Calm down, Rocco New Era and AJ Cruz. But latest stuff today sounds like the Raiders are in on Ashton Genty, and I'm just surprised. I really am. I thought with how many needs they have, I thought they go a different route. But as we sit here today, it sounds like they really want Ashton Genty, and Will Johnson I thought would be the pick, but I haven't seen anything where he's linked to them. But then again, you never know with draft time. It's smoke screens. They could just be hyping all this shit up, and then they get the guy that they really want. But the wild card, I guess, and this is what Jeremy Fowler is saying, is that it may be the Jaguars really want Ashton Genty at 5, which would, screw over the Raiders. But then you could have a guy like, Mason Graham available at 6. And that's another Michigan guy. And he'd be great on the defensive line, playing right next to Christian Wilkins. So that's on the table. But yeah, I don't think anything's – I think right now, if I had to guarantee anything as far as the draft, I would say Cam Ward's going 1. It sounds like Travis Hunter's going 2. And then I don't know what the Giants are going to do with 3, where they could take Abdul Carter, but then again, it's kind of overload with pass rush. They already have Brian Burns. They already have Kayvon Thibodeau. Do they want to draft another pass rusher? Or Abdul Carter's that good? Could they trade one of those guys? So nothing's set in stone right now, and I think we all assume that Mason Graham will go to Jacksonville at 5. Not the case at the moment. Anything could be changed. But as far as the Niners, sounds like they can move back in the draft, and I think that would make sense if they want one of these defensive tackles that's linked to them, Walter Nolan or Derek Harmon. A lot of people don't see those guys as top 15 talents. So the Niners can move down and get more draft picks. I can even see them taking somebody in the first round because they need so many defensive players to start right away. I could see the Niners pulling a 2017, what they did back then, where they drafted Solomon Thomas and then coming back in the first round to draft Reuben Foster. Obviously, those picks didn't pan out. But I could see them, with how many picks they have, packaging those picks together to go get somebody in the first round and then come back in the later round, like 31, 32, whatever, and then we'll get somebody else. So things are, there's a lot of news coming out, and sometimes things don't ever come to fruition, but we're going to hear a lot of noise the next couple of days here before the draft.
You sound so enthused, Derek.
Well, I am.
You kind of sound like you're being obligated to talk about this shit.
Not obligated. It's just I don't know what to believe because there's so like
Yes, Derek, because it's all BS.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because like last year, like the Rams were trying to trade for Brock Bowers, or the Jets were interested in Brock Bowers, and none of that came to fruition. Like we didn't even know Ricky Pearsall was on the 49ers radar. So who the hell knows? I'm kind of leaning in the direction that the Raiders actually might draft Ashton Genty, but I still don't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think well, I like how you said that on the podcast with your brother. I like how you mentioned that everyone's connecting the dots with Ashton Genty for whatever reason to Pete Carroll. Like for whatever reason, Pete Carroll literally says he wants to run the football, and Ashton Genty is the top guy in the draft who can run the football.
I know, Steven. And my little brother, at first, when we were hanging out at Drake's in Oakland, he was like, Ashton Genty, they're not taking him at 6. They have so many needs. And then sure enough, how I changed my mind. I'm Nick Papa. Ashton Genty's the perfect player for the Raiders, and he'd be perfect for their offense. He might be. But I'm not gonna believe it until I see it. I'm not gonna say it would be a bad pick. But if they do draft Ashton Genty, yeah, I could see it because Pete Carroll loves to run the football. I also don't know if it fits Chip Kelly's scheme, but yeah, and also I will admit when I saw his letter to the rest of the NFL where he was like, if you want to draft somebody, draft the guy that won't get tackled. I'm trying to do what Saquon Barkley did with the Eagles. Yeah, that guy's all about ball. So I think he's going to be a great pro. But Larry Krueger even brought up when you draft somebody 6, you want somebody that's going to have longevity, that's going to play for 7 seasons, 10 seasons. Guys, running backs, they don't play that long. So that's the risk you take when you draft somebody 6.
Yeah, or do you want just someone who's going to be mid for you for years, which is what happens with a lot of guys who are drafted 6th overall.
Could be the case. All right, no one needs to leave, guys. Calm down with this leaving during the draft talk.
What?
Relax. It's part of it. We've always talked draft. Nothing's new. Jesus. You sit right where you are, AJ Cruz, and listen to me talk draft. You're coming to the fucking draft show. Ridiculous.
I hope AJ goes. It's gonna be amazing.
I think he already did. Oh, goes to the draft show?
Goes to the draft show.
He is. That's I don't know what these guys are complaining about when we talk draft.
He shows up in his Fred Warner jersey. It's very interesting that they still haven't got a deal done with Purdy yet, or even Kittle for that matter.
Yeah, you saw everything that Mike Silver tweeted out today.
I didn't see anything that Mike Silver tweeted out, but I saw Matt Mayoko call it out on your station. Just, this is another one of those situations where they've just botched the opportunity to get him paid early because obviously the Trey McBride deal resets the market a little bit and maybe forces them to pay something extra. Pretty interesting.
This is what Mike Silver said today. The 49ers offseason program begins tomorrow, and there's some uncertainty about whether players seeking new contracts, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Fred Warner, will show up for voluntary activities. There has been some progress towards a multi-year extension for Purdy that will likely pay him more than $50 million a year. The question is, how much progress? If Purdy shows up on Tuesday, is it a sign? I lost it here for a second. Hold on. Shows up to. Is it a sign that he and his agent believe they're very close to striking a deal? If he doesn't, that probably indicates that some significant obstacles remain. As of now, no decision has been made. Warner and the 49ers have yet to have any substantive talks about a possible extension. But the veteran team leader is likely to report. Kittle heading into his final year of a 5-year, $75 million deal is much more of a long shot, as he and the 49ers remain far apart in discussions about a new deal. I'll say that I think the Brock Purdy deal will eventually get done. I'll be very surprised if the Niners sign back George Kittle and Fred Warner.
Yeah. Look, I think the Niners need to have a lot of things go right for them to have like a solid season this year. Like, I really wouldn't put it like, I know I'm not trying to be that down on them, but if you're expecting Christian McCaffrey to come back the same way that he did, or Trent Williams to last a full season, or for that offensive line to hold up. Even though, you got Dominic Pooney there, and obviously Williams is going to be back fully healthy, to expect Brandon Ayuk to be back and better than ever. Who knows with Ricky Pearsall? I think, he's obviously showed, good signs of promising signs, but what if you have a disgruntled George Kittle? Although George Kittle's going to be, I don't know, he's going to give 100% every snap anyway, no matter
he
whether
will
or not. But the point is, like, I wouldn't put it past them to be like a potential trade deadline candidate. Like, this is what happens with teams that fall off, man, is
yeah
you got stars and stars that are willing to go elsewhere, and this happens with every team. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that this is what the 49ers fate is. It's automatic. It's done this year. But, Ernie twos here. Niners need hits bad. They need more hits than a crackhead at the Tenderloin. Jeez, that's a strong comparison.
Amen.
Strong analogy. But if they don't hit on these draft picks, like, what if you don't get anyone to shore up that defensive line? What's, the secondary going to look like without Charvarius Ward and Diamador Lenore is the number one guy? Who's going to step up immediately into the number two spot? Renardo Green was good last year, but there's the jury's still out on him. Obviously, Malik Mustafa was great. Who's going to be your number two linebacker next to Fred Warner? Like, there's so many questions, man. And I think, and obviously there's the Brock Purdy thing. Like, what if the contract does linger into training camp and he doesn't get as much time as he potentially needs with these guys? A lot of variables at play.
That can't happen. They cannot go to training camp and he's not there. And I still think Brock is going to show up at OTAs tomorrow. I think that's just in his nature, that he's not going to let a contract dispute get in the way of his job. He's just too dedicated. So I can't see that happening. I can't see the 49ers dicking around at training camp and being like, well, we'll just run these plays with Mac Jones. No, when push comes to shove, like you saw a year ago with the Packers, they did a couple of practices without Jordan Love. He was there. He was holding in. But then they paid him because they knew they're not going to be able to function as a football team without their quarterback. So I think eventually this deal will get done. I think it happens relatively soon. I think it happens before they get to training camp, maybe in June, maybe in May. Who knows? But I will be shocked if George Kittle gets paid. Fred Warner may be down the line, but I would be shocked if George Kittle comes back to the Niners. I do think this is his swan song, unfortunately.
Yeah, potentially.
Yep. All right. Well, with that, let's let Steven do his mock draft. Steven, go ahead. 1 to 32. Who you got?
Abdul Carter, Barkevius Mingo, Reuben Foster, third to the Jaguars.
All right. The joke landed. You're good. That's okay.
Just everything your brother chose. How about that?
It's down. Yeah, my brother had the most nuanced draft, or mock draft I've seen in quite some time. That was pretty good by him.
Yeah, he's very confident in saying that this guy's going to be good in the NFL for a long time, or this guy's not going to pan out in the NFL for a long time. Very confident.
Man. He breaks down the tape. He knows.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, we're getting out of here for tonight. The Warriors play on Wednesday, and Steven has to cover the Giants game, the day game, the next day. So he will not be joining us. I might pop on for a little bit. I don't know if we'll do a live stream, but I'll record a little something to recap game 2 of Rockets and Warriors. And we got the draft show coming at you on Thursday. So on KMBR. So hopefully come out to that in Jax if you want to come see me and Adam Copeland and Marcus Boucher. But me and Steven will not be together until Sunday. So we will react to game 2 and 3 of the Warriors and Rockets on Sunday, and we'll react to everything that went on in the draft. Real quick, Rocket Winner asked me, how many total brothers do I have? Well, I got my brother Nick, and I got on my mom's side my little brother Andrew, And then stepbrother or half brother, I got Steven from my mom's previous marriage. So altogether 3 brothers. So there you go.
I feel like we've talked
Trying
about
to figure
that.
this out, or
Yeah, I feel like we talked about that, but I forgot.
yeah, my siblings are, it's convoluted. It's a bunch of halves, stepbrothers, some biological.
Yeah.
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 All right, everybody. So yeah, that's the schedule for this week. I will be doing something on Thursday. May not be a live stream. I may just record a little podcast and just give my quick thoughts on the Warriors and Rockets, and whatever transpires. Hopefully, we get a little bit of fuckery the next couple of days here. Maybe a trade goes down, and I'll react to that. But as far as me and Steven doing a live stream together, we will be back on Sunday at 11, our usual time, and we will be talking about the draft. Oh yeah, and Warriors and Rockets. All right. Until then, thanks to Rocket New Era. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll say what's up to Ernie. We'll say what's up to AJ Cruz. And Otis Bird is the word. And your buddy from preschool, Steven. What was his name? Jonathan Wright.
Yeah. He was at the wedding.
Did I meet him?
I don't know.
Can't recall.
I think he was at Bonte's table.
He might have been. All right, everybody. We will see you on Sunday. Steven, say what you always say.
Well, it's just our opinion, man. I don't know what that was.
What voice was that?
I don't know. End of stream.